What's going on, y'all? It's J Small Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bringing you guys a battle review, Charron versus Illmac, which was the main event for King of the Dots Nova Scotia event yesterday, which honestly, I did not even get to catch a good portion of. I was out and about, I had some family, I have some family in town, so I didn't see Anderson Burris versus Thesaurus. Heard that it was a dirty 30, though, from Anderson. Like, even Thesaurus tweeted it was a bad performance, so tough after the A-Ward loss. And I caught like the second half of Real Deal versus Jay the Nightwing, and Jay's last two rounds were great. Real Deal also had two very last good rounds. I can't really judge it. I missed somewhat of the first portion of the second, but from what I saw, it was a good battle. But I had to tune in for Charron versus Illmac. Humongous, real legacy battle over there for Charron, of course, but really just for King of the Dot, two of the best talents ever associated with the brand, going at it. And one of the best performances of 2024 happened last night. So we're going to be doing a lot of talking about Charron. I'm just going to tell you that right now. If you've seen any of the talk about his performance, you understand that. But let's start with the first round of the battle. So battle starts out on Illmac, and like any Illmac performance, it's very message-based. He works an angle usually across really all three rounds, and has a point to prove by the end of the battle. And early on, he sarcastically starts bringing up a money angle. You know, Charron being accused of scamming and always talking about being rich, making it like part of his personality. And that's something you're going to hear pretty much heavily throughout this first round. And there's a couple bars he got out of it. How's it feel to be in the top 1% chance of living? I thought that was a really good bar. Made fun of him too, making fun of Charron having gun bars and kind of being tough in his rap, saying this guy's probably behind all of Ottawa's crime. So a couple jokes in there as well. I'll cop you a new fit, Pine Box. I thought that was pretty dope. The energy scheme, I gotta put his lights out to keep the lights on. I thought that was pretty dope. Then once again, playing at, use the rich angle again. So a few jokes about that. And it is setting up a message. It will play against him in this round, I'll tell you that now. But from there, he has the Riddler's outfit, your character's in question. I thought that was dope. The angel slices neck. Now he's an angel investor. That might have been his best bar of the first. I actually think bar for bar, Illmac has a pretty formidable. It's not a great first, like I said. Kind of joking, setting up angles, but not being too effective with the money angle early. So there is some clever lines here, but there is kind of some dry spots here and there that it's not fully accounting for. I don't want respect, but I got it anyways. Talking about something, respect is something that money can't buy, which actually is a very good use, I think, of the money angle. So that's kind of how he ends out the first. And as you see, some good themes, a couple clever bars, right? And then Charron raps, man. And Charron has had an incredible 2024. And even though I didn't do predictions, I did have Charron, you know what I'm saying, knowing that the card was coming up 2-1 going into the battle. But listen, he starts out perfect type of rebuttal, not even really a rebuttal in a wordplay sense. He just says, I'm rich as fuck. He just starts yelling, I'm rich as fuck, to open the battle, which he's done in a couple other rounds, couple other battles recently as well. So that's almost a funny way to retort. But then from there, he is the Monopoly rebuttal, talking about how Illmac's native. So now I'm taking his property, which is kind of crazy. But, rebuttals that off rip. From there, he's the smoked in the trailer, like call it Corey and Trevor. Thought that bar was cool. The Queen cover band perform under pressure. I thought that was dope. And then he has a few local references as well. Battles in Canada. So he has they'll have to get the DJ IV to keep it classified. That was a haymaker. I think DJ IV is a DJ out in Halifax, around where the battle's went down. So that, a little bit of a local reference, but a haymaker there. Terry Fox, this is going to be the sickest run Canada's ever seen. That's crazy. Homie had the prosthetic leg running out there in Canada. Had to look that one up too, but that was fire. The flow switching and rapping ability, I don't think I'm doing that justice either. And if you haven't seen the battle, or when you do, you got to see the conviction that Charron's rapping with. It is otherworldly, like very locked in. Like you just know when a rapper is like really trying their hardest, like at their peak kind of effort and execution wise. And while these bars are good, the delivery and the rapping is what makes this what's going to be one of the best performances of the year so far. I'm just telling you that right now. From there, he has the You watch my rounds in Avo's kitchen, talk about Illmac being on Ruin Your Day. I watch my rounds to keep up with my competition. That's crazy. And then he counterwrites the money angle. So already he had the rebuttal for it to start, but now he actually has a section that he has written literally to retort Illmac's first, to be honest with you. And he says, I don't care if you appreciate the rounds as long as my investments do. Talking about, an appreciating investment. I thought that was crazy. I learned from Nick Cannon I had no plan B. That was wild. And follows that up with just straight disrespect. You're a broke midget with no family. How is a 5'2" hobbit trying to grown man me? And it was at this point that I'm like, is Charron barking on Illmac? Like, is he, talking down on Illmac? And then, listen, this is the face of a man that is losing his fucking mind. You know what I'm saying? This is a very serious individual right here. I couldn't believe he was looking at the camera like this. And that should just tell you, what the feeling of Charron's first was. And he wasn't even done. You know what I'm saying? Then he goes into the fact... he has another kind of local bar about a club, like a club in Halifax. They'll be grafting your dome. Then he has the ducking. You're ducking real sick. He's got a whole angle about that, which leads into the I never left the game. Like I had no memory card. Talked about the difference in activity between them. So as you see, he's going at the way he schedules, his career choices, you know what I'm saying? Even him doing the Ruin Your Day. I mean, it's really surgical, the amount of topics he's covering, and he's landing punches with all of them. Talk about how he's a struggling rapper, and he said, how did you call your album Free Butter with no bread to put it on? Haymaker. I mean, he's fucking Illmac up, dog. Really bad at this point. The eye then talks about Thesaurus and Illmac winning as a 2-on-2 team and said, I have twins, so who's really Mr. 2 times everything? Get the fuck out of here, man. He's got the Frodo Baggins bar, the Bishop Brigante closer. I mean, there's bars I couldn't mention because it'd just be too long just talking about the man's first round. But Charron's first is a legacy round. It was iconic, and it was literally the perfect start to this battle, and he was up a disgusting 1-0 on Illmac. And then second round of the battle, back on Illmac. He has a quick rebuttal for the Twins line, 2 times everything, that Charron had at the end of his first, and turns into more of a comedic, Saurus spot, bringing up the Saurus. It was a cool rebuttal, kind of came and went, but I could tell you right now, and something that you'll see from the top of this round really to the end of it, is that it did seem a bit like Charron's first rattled Illmac a bit. Illmac kind of mentions how crazy his first was at the top of his round, but just the way he went about this, it's just very dicey. It's borderlining on stumbly, but it just doesn't seem to have the full conviction you usually get from an Illmac round, right? And he has some good lines still. The blue nose with the brown one bar was cool. He has the Pat section, because obviously, going down to Nova Scotia, this event is for Pat's Day, his hometown, as well as they have the celebration of life today as well, and with his case still going on. So King of the Dot always representing their legends well. But he has this, talking to Pat type of section. And I thought that was even though it was very comedy based, thought it was well executed. Jay the Nightwing did a Pat's Day impression earlier in the night, so welcomed on the event. But from there, he's this trophy room segment talking about I need a maid for my trophy room and a sauna in my trophy room and all these different all this different stuff about a trophy room. It's just kind of a weird stumbly dry spot of the round. I thought it took already a round, didn't have a lot of energy. I thought this is what kind of transferred it into a bad round, where I felt he wasn't getting that much attacking content off of Charron. And then he ends with the angle that he's going to use again in the third. I thought he'd use more just in general, and that's the fact that Charron's never won the chain. And then, I would you begged for years to get it, just to not get it. I didn't want it, and I got it. And it's kind of actually really good angle to take. I just thought even the way he delivered that, kind of the end of his round, a limited use of the angle, just kind of a weird second from Illmac all the way around. And then Charron goes, and in comparison, I guess this would be the weakest round that he had. He's got, but it's a strong round. He's got the NFT angle, going at Illmac for when he was selling NFTs, which I knew at that time that one day that would be an angle against him because the NFT stuff was bullshit. But he's got the ape. You were trying to sell people an ape with a blunt, and now you're getting smoked by an animal. Thought that was crazy. The Web 3.0 bar was dope. Talk about I bought a shirt, some of your merch. However, what size he bought the shirt, and I don't know. But he says, but now I need a medium because I'm talking to a dead man. That was crazy. The I own the digital rights type of scenario he painted with NFTs. I didn't really like the bar that much, you know what I'm saying? But it was cool. The George Costanza sweater bar I thought was cool. And then listen to this: the only rappers that are god tier, Pat and Bender. Incredible, and pays tribute, but really I thought like a creative way to go about that concept. Check my accolades in battle rap. I check every box like a gynecologist. Witty line, to be honest with you. You went from Illmaculate to Illmac, so now I'm taking out you late. It's so hard with how many words have been broken down in battle rap, like the lettering and the spelling, but that's a great name flip. That's a very creative name flip. I thought that was fire. Once again, have to speak to the rapping ability, just how good Charron was rapping it. Once again, just show you the man's face. Locked in. Very, very locked in. From there, he has the pocket leading up to what's with the samurais. You have such an obsession. He's had so many sword fights. His favorite club is Reflections, which is a gay club. So that whole pocket, though, leading up to that, landed as a haymaker. The Mad Child bar was crazy. You only won the WRCs because I didn't start rapping yet. Now he's just going at him for every part of his career. He's just tearing the whole thing down. I'm the type to give you the shirt off my back, then put you back on a shirt. Get out of here, man. The URL type of scheme and wordplay that he used, and an angle that he's going to repeat in the third about Illmac never going to URL. You know what I'm saying? And what that did, like what that holds back on his legacy in battle rap. Smack ruined your life like Holohan. I mean, it was just a full frontal assault. And while it's not even as good as his first, I still feel like this second almost feels more dominant because I liked Illmac's first. I'll tell you right now, I liked his third, but I thought his second was really like the one round that might have been like kind of rough, like kind of bad. So I had it, once again, a landslide 2-0 going into the third. And then the third round of the battle on Illmac, in my opinion, this is his best round. And it's a very, I'm going to say introspective, but just very tailored. He kind of says no punching, no joking. He just really talked to Charron this round. And maybe that's, why it was his best round in my opinion. And once again, he had a rebuttal about the whole URL angle, about Charron had listed like a whole resume of URL rappers that he had beaten, but had beaten Illmac. So kind of the way he flipped that was clever. And then the rebuttal back, I just kind of came and went once again, more on the joking side. But then from there, he has, like I said, kind of talked to him. And he has the talking about how a homie had passed away. He had gotten the news through a text, and he only looked at the preview and didn't open it, hoping that one day he looked at it and the text would change when he read it. I thought that was dope, you know what I'm saying? And that's real life. Goes beyond just the realm of battle rap. Anyone can really relate to that. My biggest problem in rapping is relieving pain when I speak it. Your biggest problem when you're rapping is trying to make them believe it. That is, to be honest with you, it's one of the best bars of battle. Even though this is an incredible Charron performance more than anything, I thought that was a fantastic line. And kind of goes from an angle about Charron begging for respect. And while the respect is, what did he say? He was like, respect is something that if I don't get it, then I'll leave it or something like that. Like he's not worried about, while you kind of like are always asking for it and really going into the kind of a little bit of character assassination on Charron. I think he brings up some good points even going on the third. Like kind of flipped it where he's like, you'll get really tough in a battle with 40 bars, talking about you'll go international to catch domestic, but where was that when Shine slapped you? Where there's some truth to that, even though I don't think Charron will really do anything to 40, but he did that to kind of lead into this domestic angle about domestic violence in the whole Shine situation, which I thought he executed pretty well. And then goes in you want to be the underdog and the favorite, you want to be the hero and the villain. And I really like that section because I do think there's some truth to that with like Charron's persona in battle rap. Like he's always kind of viewed in a lot of these battles, especially versus some of those URL greats, as like the underdog. You know what I'm saying? Like Charron's getting barked on. Like what is he going to do? The optics of it with him being like a nerdier looking guy. However, he's an absolute legend at the same time. He's bragging about how he's rich and how he is one of the best, has this decorated resume as the URL killer. And I do think that there is like an inherent contradiction there. And I really like the way that Illmac attacked it for most of his third round. Leads that into the comic text bubble bar, which I thought was dope. He does get to kind of stumble in a little bit. He doesn't end like with all that momentum, and then he brings the chain out in Charron's face. Like this is something that money can't buy, the King of the Dot chain. So thought that was a really good third from Illmac, to be honest with you, best round of the battle. And then Charron goes again. He starts by just yelling "fuck every midget." He says it like 7 times in a row, which is just. it's just that type of battle, man. He was just barking on him. There's really no other way to put it. From there, he kind of rebuttals the domestic kind of abuse, domestic violence little angle Illmac had. He talked about domestic abuse. I'll make this one hit close to home. It was almost damn near slept on. I thought that was great. Kind of had a local reference in there that was a rebuttal as well. You know, when you pull the plug on Mac, when it's full on battery, crazy. Next in your next animal cartoon, and he talks a lot about, you know, Illmac having the wrap off cartoons that he's done. Next animal cartoon, cast me as the goat. That was dope. Has a shot at disaster, which, you know, he did a 3 Letterman interview after, you know what I'm saying? Shout out 3, talking about how he would kill Diz. I absolutely agree. I mean, it's still a historic battle. People have asked for it for a while, so if it happened, nobody be mad. I don't think there's anything competitive about that matchup, though, especially if he's doing this to Illmac. Think about what he would do to Diz, because Illmac has still been really, really good in recent years. You know what I'm saying? But even with that, I'll put the squeeze on Mustard and Ketchup, like Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber, because Diz and Illmac rap for Mustard and Ketchup in that cartoon. That was crazy. Your eyes are only up to my nipples. You can't even look at me while I'm killing you. And he talked about Illmac's height all through the battles. You midget this, midget that, you're short. It just just kept attacking him with it. And then obviously, look at me, I'm killing you, flipping his classic slogan, God made you an NFT, not fucking tall. That's just ridiculous. It's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. The Saw franchise bar, the Signal Hill lower deck, which was also a local reference. I looked that up. I think it's like a pier they got out there. That was dope. I don't even need to be 100% to kill rappers. I'll fuck you up at 8% like a Colt 45. That was dope. I'm just listing off bars at this point. I'm smoking a native. That should show that my spot is reserved. I've been fighting off ill all my life, like Magic's immune system. Goes back to the never been to URL angle, talking about you made rap off. I made a living off rap. The Charlie Brown bar, and then really how he ends the third is what's special. He flips the whole classic Illmac third versus Big K, the rapper's nightmare. Flips the whole situation on Illmac, does his version of it. You know, I brought you to my graveyard because you can be 6 feet here. I thought that was crazy. And then ends it off with, it doesn't matter what dreams you're talking about because I've been living yours for 15 years. I can't do it justice just by talking about it, but the whole ending, I mean, he's talking to Illmac's soul. And then ends it with a classic freestyle moment. There was like a leak in the roof at the venue. And he's like, that's not a leak in the roof. That's Pat telling me to carry on his reign. His reign on the Pat's Day, like, esque tribute event in Nova Scotia. The literal perfect ender to what was a flawless performance. But as you can hear, you know what I'm saying, with how I described it, even with Illmac having a very good third that I liked, Charron once again dominantly took the third of this battle and wins this battle in not just 3-0 fashion, but 3-0 body bag fashion over what wasn't even like a bad Illmac, but it's just how good Charron was in this battle. And I'd say right there, instantaneously, considering the moment, the opponent, and just the quality really above anything, this instantly goes in the convo of not just top 5 Charron performances of all time, but I think almost like instantly is in like a top 3, if not like right there for number 1. You'd have to like let it age and see how it compares to performances like Charron versus Chef Trez, right, which I think is another great one, and things of that nature. But I mean, just how dominantly he beat someone like Illmac that is not known for dominant losses like that. And on top of that, Charron, the one mark in his career that he had a hard time with, in my opinion, you know, URL killer, very varied resume, went to a lot of different leagues, but he didn't win the chain on King of the Dot because he lost to a few different King of the Dot legends. You know what I'm saying? Pat Stay, beat him. Roan, beat him. Real deal. That's a great battle. Obviously won the battle. So that... you know, for him to beat Illmac, that's kind of like a category of battler that had given him issues. And to do it in this fashion, I mean, dude, bar for bar, like, this is a guy whose setups have been made fun of for years. You know what I'm saying? For as great as he is, we know sometimes he can just make it up as he gets to the bar. But this is written, like, structured well, It's written very well, not just the punches, actually like the lead ups to the punches. The angling choice is incredible. It was full on breakdown for 3 rounds of Illmac. You just can't ask for more, and I think more people are finally, on a larger scale, putting respect on Charron's 2024. Of course, he's been on my radar for a minute now, and a few others that I talked to that obviously like really look at everyone's year from beginning to end and keep track. But now you're seeing, with the 40 performance in this, you go back, the Danny performance was dominant and crazy on UW to start the year. The battles in between, like Cali Smooth, like Anderson Burris, like EK, where even though like that's not high in terms of danger, those are dominant performances. Like he's giving this level of, well, not this level of material, but he's giving great level material no matter who he's battling. And if Charron could get 1 or 2 more like big top tier names before the name's out, or someone that is of a fight, just watch out, man, because in a year where now people are looking at Rock, John to Don, Av, at least to the public, that's the big conversation, as it is, I'm saying, I view those guys as high contenders as well. You're going to have to start putting Charron in that convo because it's dominance throughout the year, and now he's doing it versus some of the bigger names in battle rap as well. So, as you see, those are my praises here for Charron. If you haven't seen it, well, if you have seen the battle, please let me know in the comment section down below. How do you feel about it? Do you think that highly in terms of the performance across Charron's career? How do you feel about Mac? Because I didn't even think Mac was that bad. I just thought that Charron was that good. And how do you view this overall in 2024? Do you agree with me? Do you think it's up there for one of the best performances of 2024? Because I do. And how do you feel about Charron's name among some of the other big-time years so far in 2024, man? But it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.